the lines of Scotland having found their feet. I think Scotland is much more comfortable with who we are than we were 10, 20 years ago. I mean, even kind of thinking about the football, like the kind of real animated vitriol towards England, I don't get that impression so much. I mean, obviously England are Scotland's football rivals, so people aren't going to get half and half scarves. But I think that there's been a shift in how we feel about ourselves and how we view ourselves in the world, and I think that declaring independence is the next step.
I think you've just given a marketing idea to Better Together for Scotland, England, half and half scarves, but I think it'll bomb like a lot of their other ideas. But there you go. No, but just when you were saying there about the Proclaimers, I remember that. Yeah, we're about the same age, and I remember when it wasn't Top of the Pops, it was the one that was on Channel 4 with Paula Yates, and I remember, was it The Tube, something like that?
Yeah.
And I remember the introduction and just sort of bemusement and hilarity and, you know, look at it, we're sorry this is number one, but we'll have to put you through it because it's number one. Here's the Proclaimers. You know, this kind of introduction.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know those guys, but people speak highly of them, and I think they need to be applauded for that. I think they kind of like actually probably knew there would be quite a lot of derision and quite a lot of sort of mocking, and they changed things. They changed how Scottish mainstream singers, because obviously folk singers have always been singing in their own voices, but it kind of changed how Scottish people hear ourselves, and I think that's quite a big thing. And I think it also goes to literature, to your kind of James Kelmans and Irvine Welsh's. And I mean, I've heard some of the things Irvine said about reaction to his books when he first came out, and there's a bit of a similarity. People really looked down their nose at it, really belittled it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good that that's changed.
Staying on the topic of your music, you had a song about a certain woman who passed away recently.
Yeah.
I believe it was called George Square Thatcher Death Party. Sorry.
Yeah, I have to come clean here that the idea was not ours. I think I saw that this was being planned, so we stole the song from a pre-arranged event. It wasn't, the gathering in George Square wasn't our idea.
But it was getting 1 million hits on YouTube immediately after she died. Everyone was tweeting it to each other. So you must have been quite happy about that.
I was absolutely, you know, when I was really happy was when I saw that there was actually people in George Square. I didn't know that I took any kind of personal responsibility for it, but I just,
Personal responsibility for the death of Thatcher?
No. For the gathering in George Square. But the idea to me seemed wonderful. Like, she really was. You know, the world isn't black and white. It's hard. It's hard in most situations to say who is completely good and who is completely bad. And I think that this is another thing that kind of muddles up the independence and the pro-UK debate. I mean, there are some people I know who are very pro-Scotland, still part of the UK, who are wonderful people, who are great people. I think most of the time it's hard to draw lines between good and bad and black and white. But in the case of Margaret Thatcher in Scotland, there is no doubt whatsoever. She was our Antichrist. She literally bled our country dry to give millionaires tax breaks while trying to shut our entire nation down.
And she also said, and this one didn't get much play during the time, but she also said, "I am an English nationalist and don't you forget it," to someone.
Yeah, well, that's how she behaved. That's how she behaved. And especially now with all the freedom of information stuff coming out about the amount of money made by the oil found in Scotland. I mean, it's Ming the Merciless, Darth Vader rolled into one, just absolute horror show monster of a woman. So I'm a nice person, but I was definitely glad that she was not still with us.
So did you get any kind of reaction, people phoning you up or newspapers or anything after she died and that song kind of went viral for a little bit?
I got a request for an interview with the Daily Record.
Ooh.
Well, not that newspaper in particular, but we've never done any interviews with tabloid newspapers. That's not why we started the band.
Were you getting any abuse on Twitter and the like?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lots of little Union Jack people. That's what I call the people that have it on their thing. Lots of Union Jack people saying horrible things about me. Not as bad as my sister's boyfriend, Jared Earl, though, who was the guy who set up isthatcherdeadyet.com.
All right.
And he's had like 3 Daily Mail articles on him, all sorts of stuff. He's beats my record for pointless belligerence.
So what's he going to do with that site now? Blair?
I think they might have changed it to isbloodidyet.com or something. I don't know. I mean, him and his mate just did it for a bit of fun. They didn't even make any money out of it. I think they just knew it would annoy Tories, so they thought it was a very easy way to annoy Tories. I was impressed with the tagline though when she did die of "the lady's not returning." I thought that was good. He's maybe got a job as a tabloid headline writer.
Yeah, absolutely.
In another life.
Looking forward with the debate, how do you think this debate's going to play out as we get nearer to the time?
Well, I have to say I'm quite concerned just now that the debate is being led by media reports of scare stories. I'm not surprised, but it makes me wonder if a different tack has to be taken, because really what you're getting is like a week of pretty baseless scare stories in all the newspapers, and then come the Sunday or come the Saturday, them being completely debunked, but on page 18. So I kind of wonder if maybe to get off the back foot, something has to happen. Almost makes me, ironically, since apparently the Better Together people are using Obama's people, but I remember I've always followed American elections, and the last one, they made a very early decision to go on the front foot and to really attack Romney, rather than let Romney attack him and have him trying to defend himself and his position. So I almost wonder if maybe people need to quite forcefully be told how unfair the situation is at the moment and how much better it could be, rather than have all this ridiculous stuff about the pound and all that kind of thing.
So do you think yes, Scotland have been too reactive and they should be being more aggressive?
Well, this is my thinking right now, and this is quite a recent thing. I'm sure they're probably having the same discussion as we speak, but yes, I do. I think this softly, everything's going to be fine. It's not worked so far. I'm not a political strategist, so I don't have all the answers, but I definitely don't think that everything's going to be fine. Just vote yes. It's all just going to be the same. Maybe they have to be a bit bolder. Maybe they have to be things won't be the same. Things are going to be better, you know? And maybe the things that Westminster's doing that are not voted through by the Scottish MPs, things like the bedroom tax, they really need to play hard with that, you know? Just get the... I mean, there's a great... I'm sure you've seen it. There's a great meme with how many MPs voted for it and that it's just going to happen anyway. I mean, that could be applied to so many things.
Yeah, you should be banging the drum like, here's what they're doing to us, and here's how it doesn't. Here's what could be better. We don't have to do. It doesn't have to be this way.
I think so. Also, just the people that passionately believe yes. I mean, it's kind of choosing your moment. I mean, I was talking about myself. I mean, there must be a lot of people that follow me on Twitter that aren't Scottish, couldn't care less about politics. Even people in Scotland that couldn't care less. And you don't want to turn those people off, because they're the people that you need to convince. So it's kind of a bit of it's a balancing act. Things change very quickly. That's one thing. I don't even like the last week's been pretty tough. The Yes campaign's had a bit of a kick in, and even though I don't think they've been, I think that most of the stories have been things that can be quite easily explained away. The explanations have not managed to break through. They're on the back foot. Even like if you look at the rise of UKIP, that. You've got to presume that UKIP are going to do pretty well in the English council elections. That story has to be huge up here. People have to realise that there's divergent paths, that pretty much we've got the Tories and Labour to a large extent kind of dancing to that tune, and that is not in keeping with how politics are going here and how the people of Scotland feel. I mean, there isn't this frenzied anti-immigration feeling up here, probably largely because we've got lots of space. And I mean, England is, whether you agree at all about being anti-immigration, but there are an awful lot more people in England. It's a very, very crowded place, so that might be a reason. But it just shows you that the general feeling here is not a lurch to the right. In England, it's a lurch to the right. It's almost a race to the right. And that should be your kind of middle ground voter, your person that votes SNP in the Scottish elections, but Labour in the national elections to try and keep out the Tories. There must be so many of those people, and they're the people that need to be convinced that a no vote is almost definitely going to end up with Scotland being run by Boris Johnson.
Wow. Boris Johnson, who has said publicly that £1 spent in London is better than £1 spent in Strathclyde.
Yeah, no, I mean, that has to be it. I mean, to be honest, I would have a billboard with Boris Johnson's face saying the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, vote yes.
I might mock that up, actually, tonight.
Seriously, I mean, I can't see Miliband winning. What have they got? They've got a 6-point lead at the moment. Their Chancellor's a national joke. Do you know what I mean? They're not far away from the secret bat people of kind of policy decisions. They're kind of very, very hard to take seriously. You've got the gormless Jim Murphy running about saying that he wants to review Trident, but of course he's against nuclear weapons. I mean, they're very hard to take seriously. I don't think that they will win the next election.
No. Or there's also a chance that if UKIP get some seats, then the Tories could be in alliance with UKIP.
That is absolutely frightening. But you're right. I mean, it's...
Considering, I tweeted it the other day that one of the UKIP members said that exercise for children can stop them being gay. It's one of the political certainties in life that sooner or later someone from UKIP is going to say something mad. You don't want them anywhere near a government position.
No, you don't. And I mean, all political parties have kind of nefarious elements, and they have people that will say something or will let their feelings be known, and you find out that they're pretty undesirable and they're not the kind of person you would want to have a pint with, never mind dictate how your lives are run. But it seems to be that the decent people in UKIP are the example. In fact, I don't think I've seen any. They're all pretty much just EDL with suits.
Yeah. Another thing, just with the band, you must be down in England quite a lot. And I don't know if, because you'd be quite busy, you'd be moving around, concerts and stuff, but have you had the chance to get speaking? You said earlier with the North East, the people you've spoken to there, but what's the general feeling you get if this comes up down there? Do you think? I think there's a huge difference between how the English public see the issue and how the British state see the issue, and I don't know what kind of reaction you've got down there.
I think the reaction I've had has been almost completely positive. It's always been people going, "Go for it. I don't blame you," that kind of thing. Pretty much, if we had an opportunity to get rid of the Tories, we would take it. I think that people in England are quite comfortable about it, and it's not much of an issue. I don't think that, I mean, when the agreement was signed, it was in all the papers, but it's not something that's mentioned too much. And even when it does make it to an editorial of a national English edition of a newspaper, they tend to not have the facts right, or they tend to kind of be a couple of months behind the debate. It's almost like, say if the Herald of the Scotsman writes an article about American politics by a writer here, probably to someone who follows American politics hour by hour by hour, they would find that a little bit out of date. And that's the feeling I get with the English commentary on the independence referendum.
Well, for some of the commentators, it's just a bit of local trouble.
Yeah, it is. And that compared to your peers, your Labour peers and your Labour MPs and the Prime Minister, if you see how sending the Chancellor up here was quite a huge move. You know fine well that they really, 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 really don't want Scotland to declare independence. And you start to wonder why. And it's certainly not because, well, from the Labour peers' point of view, they're living the life of Riley. They're living the life of Riley down there. They've got incredibly lavish lifestyles that are not going to stop anytime soon. And from the...
Oh no, they're so poor that they have to have their meals subsidised in the Parliament.
Yeah.